Hello and welcome back to Operations with Void. I'm your host, Forgotten Void, and today we will be showcasing the British destroyer Somme, because that is what was voted for in the community poll. We've voted for a, British destroyer, and as you can see, these are the British destroyers that I own. Daring, Jutland, Lightning, Cossack B, Galleon, Aegis, and Jervis. Somme is Jutland, but premium version. Has a nice skin for it. That's it. Otherwise, it's exactly the same as Jutland, except with the all the benefits of premium ship and gets. So this is Somme with lest we forget on the side. So it is nice and pretty, but otherwise, yeah, it's the same as Jutland. So armor, 19 millimeters all around. The artillery are 113 millimeter guns that reload in 4 seconds. So you have 6 of those. Really good for destroyers. Everything else is kind of meh. And I mean, even then, it's still 4 seconds. You get 6 of them. So it's not quite a gunboat. Like, yeah, you can go against other destroyers, but it's... And that's with the reload. Yeah, we have the reload mod on there. And it's still only, 4 seconds. So Jutland is over here the same. Torpedoes. You have 2 racks. You can fire them one by one. They have a reload time of 120 seconds. Not base. That's with skills. Okay, so base reload is 133 seconds. Guns are a little bit over 4 seconds. Come down to 4 seconds with the reload mod. So that's, I think, what? It's probably about 4.5? About 4.5 normal, and then with the reload mod, it goes down to 4. Now on to AAs, nothing really to mention. Concealment, it's 6.3 with the concealment mod. And maneuverability is, it's very fast rudder shift, but you don't get a speed boost. We take almost everything is the same so the first 3 things, first 2 are just what you get for destroyers. The third one we do with aiming, because this makes our guns more accurate. For torpedo boats, you do the torpedo mod, but for gunboats, you do aiming. That's kind of how it goes. For British destroyers, because you cannot do the... you don't have the upgraded... I'm sorry. Because British destroyers include advanced propulsion, there's no upgrade for the propulsion available to British destroyers. So you can choose fire extinguishing time, you can choose steering, or you can choose depth charges. If we're facing subs, in fact, if you're going to go into randoms, probably depth charges is better. You can just leave this one blank, actually, so you don't have to spend 1,000,000 credits here, if you want. For the next one, we do concealment, because not only because it makes our ship harder to detect, but it also makes it harder to hit. And we don't need steering gear mods. You don't need the more consumos. And with the Hydro already picking torpedoes up at 3 kilometers, you don't need a torpedo lookout system. We have main guns because this is a main gun ship. It is supposed to be a main gun ship. I don't know. For ops, I am thinking that possibly torpedo tubes might be better. Just possibly. But we do have the main guns on here. Honestly, the flag should go on for the extra 1% of fires, because that would bring you to 9% to catch fire, because with 113 you're only pending 19 millimeters of armor. Your damage is fires. That's it. That is where your main gun damage is. It pens 19 millimeters, so it's going to pen base destroyers. But with the Elbings and whatnot, it is iffy. So we have our preventive maintenance, last stand, survivability expert, and concealment expert. Now, because Dunkirk himself has skills for these, enhanced these two enhanced skills, this is why I went and put those 3 points there. Otherwise, I would think about putting 3 points elsewhere. So we have fill the tubes for our torpedo reload time. So with that, you can take your 3 points and then you can put it somewhere else. And if you put it into superintendent, then you get an extra heal. You put it into adrenaline rush, you get your reload. So honestly, I would probably take, if I didn't have Dunkirk and I was just using on a normal captain, I'd probably take adrenaline rush and superintendent instead of these skills. Now with IFHE, you get up to 23 millimeters of penetration. This doesn't really help, so there's no reason to take IFHE. So, in fact, Demolition Expert is probably a better thing to take, because then you're going up to 10% chance of fire per shell. So, Superintendent, Adrenaline Rush, Demolition Expert. Yeah, so instead of these skills, it would be Superintendent, Adrenaline Rush, and Demolition Expert. Or one of these, Priority Target, Demolition Expert, one of these, and yeah, be Consumable Specialist. So you take out consumable enhancements and then do consumable specialist and one of these and get both of these. And this would actually allow you to be able to open water gun boats so you can use your guns more. Because then you would know if things are shooting at you or not shooting at you. With that said, we'll go ahead and hop into. So here we are in Aegis. Yeah, I was clicking over on the screen as I was flipping over. We're already starting the battle, so you have a Yamato, 2 Kerfers, a Smolensk, a Somme, a Mogador, and a Jaeger. So I look at that lineup and I say, well, since my torpedoes are going to take forever to reload, I'm going to go ahead and go north. And in this one, you really want to use your torpedoes. So I see that. I'm like, it's going to be fine. Kerfers is a good ship, does a lot, and packs a punch. And Smolensk burns stuff down. And Jaeger, since their torpedoes are going to reload quickly, it's better for them to go and hit their torpedoes first. Where we are going to go ahead and go up north because it's going to take forever for our torpedoes to reload. And we also want to be close, since we're going to single launch them. We want to make sure that we hit our targets. Now, as you see that we already spotted the first season up in the north corner. Some people mistake this as by going further north, you are going to spawn them. However, the ships in the north already spawn early. In the original iteration, when it was Furutaka and Kuma's, because they didn't have a gun range and were pretty stealthy base, you had to be much closer to spot them, unless it was Ishizuchi. But with the Yoshinos and the Hizens and how they become spotted so far away, people started thinking, even with the up-tiered ships in the 7-8, people started thinking that by going north, you spawn them. But they were already there. The person going up north just is detecting them. So here I am I'm just throwing 3, 3. Well, it's going to end up being 4, 3, 3, 4, and 3. Because you have 10 torpedoes. And I am making sure that at least 3 hit each target. And there we go. We started a fire on one Hazen. And we only have right now, what, 8% chance of fires? So, not the best chance. We could have got to 9 if we brought the flag. We didn't bring the flags. And so 9 hits. And now we're going to get the 10th. And there we go. So that one on that last Yoshino is... So if we split them up, and actually if we had done 1 per ship, waited, and then did another 1 per ship, we might have been able to get out floods, bait out DCPs, and be able to get more flooding damage. So using those single launching torps, it probably would have been better that way. That said, here comes the Jaeger, coming in like a wrecking ball with their fast loading, very fast torps, coming in and finishing off. Yeah, there we go. 2 of the ships finished off. So here you see we're splitting up 3 and 2. And I see that Hezen going off. So we're just going to throw all the rest of the torps at the last Hezen, because I don't expect the front Hezen to live for very long. Especially with all the torpedoes going at them. And now we're moving up. So... Yep, there goes the Hezen. All those torpedoes. All those torpedoes. So probably going to get the 2, but the far 5, I don't know if they're going to hit. Because these 2 hit, and we break an engine. And do we get any more? At 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's dead. Okay, so we got all of them. And we're able to take up the second Hezen, and we're moving up. And so I'm trying to get to the second Yoshino, but unfortunately, we aren't able to get within range. And so having the torpedo speed might have helped, but the torpedo reload on these is just so slow. And so this is why I'm thinking having a torpedo, because you're either working on fire damage or you're doing raw damage with torpedoes, and in ops you generally want the raw damage more than the damage over time. Raw damage generally does better, and this is why I feel like this ship is better for randoms than it is for ops, because it has great stuff. It has the 19 millimeters of pen, all you need for penetrating pretty much the armor for any destroyer that's going to be in a cap. And then it has smoke and hydro, great for contesting caps. It has single launching torps for your bow and targets that just kind of sit there. Russian cruisers that just hug an island and sit there, or American cruisers that find an island and just sit there. And it has great acceleration, so you can speed juke or get out of things, and then the short burst smoke is great for getting out of situations, not for sitting in and farming. So it has all the tools, and a heal. It has all the tools for randoms and ranked, but for ops, it's yeah. The torpedoes reload slow. The guns don't do damage, and fires are not going to get you much. So it is just okay for ops. And this is why I don't really run British destroyers in ops. They're small guns, and they even with Daring, Daring also has 113 millimeter guns. The torp tube reload goes down, and then you have a better reload. But that's it. Like Somme and Jutland and Daring, there's not much. Just slight improvements between the two. So yeah, and here I'm actually communicating with our Jaeger, because he's like, where are we going? And I'm just like, I'm going to do one at each. Yeah, spread the damage around. So going beat art, right. So he means he's going to take the one on the right side. Now I probably should have just thrown all 10 of them at one target. But this is also a way you can farm out a target. And since the Jaeger's here, and I know they're not going to use the smoke, I'm going to use the smoke to try and set fires. To bait out a DCP. And there we go, there's a fire. Now the hope is the torpedoes hit after the DCP goes down. But we'll see. I think the torpedoes hit DCP is still active. Yep, 5 torpedoes, no flooding. The other one gets a flooding, but that one's caught the DCP immediately. And this one we have what, 10 seconds? We don't have much time, so we're trying to get another fire before our smoke runs out. By then the smoke runs out. And then we're within the detection range, 5.7. And then we're not detected anymore. But we can still use this as an advantage. So as a destroyer, you can fire a couple rounds like this. And we just fired one, and then go dark again. And this will make it so that they have a hard time shooting your allies, because they look at you and swap to high explosive. And then you go dark for a few seconds, and they'll look at someone else and swap to armor piercing. And then you can fire a burst or two. Thank you for resetting. That's the downside, is because they have 7.7 kilometer range for their secondaries. As long as you're within that range, the secondaries are going to fire at you. And they hurt because they're bots, and so when they hit hard. So because one of our racks got reset, we're only able to send one rack. The downside of this is Yoshinos from across the map will shoot at you. As you can see, the Yoshinos, you kind of need to make for one battleship. You can do it as long as someone else is attracting the attention of Yoshinos. But when they Yoshinos have nothing else to shoot at, they will come at you. Anyways, we got 2 floodings on there, so I'm pretty sure it's fine. Yep, there's torpedoes from Yoshino. We're going to go ahead and activate Hydro. And this helps spot the torpedoes for other allies that are near us as well, since we have 3 kilometer torpedo spotting. And I was going to go broadside, but then torpedo. So being able to spot torpedoes at 3 kilometers is really nice with the Hydro. And it lasts a long time. So some people actually build into Hydro because it lasts so long. So we're going to use our smoke and start firing. As you see, it's just all non-pens. Because we don't have the penetration. We have 19 millimeter. We can only get up to 23. No reason to take 20 because high FAG because you don't reach 25. But still, we got our 5 stars. Only 342k damage with 29 hits. Only one destroyed because we went for damage instead of kills. And that's why we're down pretty low on the team. Not too far, but low. The rest, like, we're at 1600 with 1850 at the top. So the battleships did drop and good. They did good there. But also, as a destroyer, we lack the tools to do really well in ops in general. And as a premium with yeah, we actually don't have any anything on the bonus package. I think I might have been using grays. So even then, most of our damage, we had a little bit from fires, mostly from torpedoes. So that's why I was thinking you should build into torpedoes, because most of our damage came from torpedoes. 272k from torpedoes, whereas 28 from guns, 30 if you count the fires. But it's just okay for a ship. If you really like British destroyers, you can use them, but I would say, yeah, maybe. Like Cossack, actually, of the British destroyers, Cossack's probably the best, like the best one, because it has 4 guns, 120. It gives a 5-second reload, but at tier 8. So you can see, you can actually be able to Citadel sometimes for cruisers that you face. Cossack's actually good, but the rest is very meh. At least that's how I feel. Anyways, if you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up if you didn't, and thumbs down. If you want to see more videos, want to participate in voting, because I sometimes do polls of what ship I want you guys want to see. The next one, I guess we're gonna have to do Irian if I don't do a break for the current event. So I'm probably going to do when like the current event and Irian coming up. I'm not sure what order we'll do. We'll get to that when we get to that. And then after that, it'll be Rochester. But if you want to add something else to the list, go ahead. I know Aegis last week was on the list, and again this week was a request, and the steel ship was a request. So as I get requests, I will try to do them. That said, I hope to see you again next week. Have a good one.